Welcome to Let's Learn. Today we are going to see the novella The Old Man and the Sea. Okay, first of all, few facts related to the author. The writer or the author of this novel is Ernest Hemingway. You must be familiar with him. He is a very famous American writer. He was born in 1899 and died in 1961. And he, by profession, he was a journalist, and then he used his experiences as a journalist in his the themes of his novels are basically the experiences that he had during his time or during he worked as a journalist. Okay, so he himself called his style of writing as iceberg theory. Okay, iceberg theory of writing, which is the style of writing, a particular type of writing that is both economical and understated style as well. Okay, that means that he worked as a journalist, and in journalism, when it comes to journalism, there is no scope for lots of exaggerations and that kind of things. So journalists, they need to be should be very concise, and they should have a skill to bring to write everything in a very economical way, isn't it? So he adopted that particular style into his own writings, that is to the fiction, and then he called himself it as the iceberg theory of writing. Okay, now he was awarded Pulitzer, some a highest literary or honorary award, that is in America, Pulitzer Prize 1953, that is for the novella The Old Man and the Sea. That is what we are going to study today. And then he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1954, and it was dedicated to the Cubans. Okay, people of Cuba, Cubans. He dedicated his Nobel Prize to these Cubans in 1954. And you must be familiar with the lost generation, a term coined by Gertrude Stein, and it was popularized by Ernest Hemingway. That group of poets, authors, were basically from America, that is American expatriate writers. They were living in Paris during 1920s. So in order to she, that is Gertrude Stein, denoted or called them as lost generation, and this term was used in the epigraph of the novel The Sun Also Rises. The Sun Also Rises is the first novel by Ernest Hemingway, and it was a very massive success. Okay, so in the epigraph he has mentioned this: we are all a lost generation. That was the statement. Okay, there are many other famous writers like Fitzgerald, and then many other American authors, very famous authors were from that were there in that group. Okay, and then we know that Ezra Pound and many others were there. Okay, and then he lived in Cuba for more than 20 years. That is the reason why he has an affinity towards Cubans, and he dedicated his even his Nobel Prize to these Cubans. And then his memoirs are basically that's a collection of his memories and his thoughts, etc. That is A Movable Feast in 1964. It was published posthumously. He died in 1961. So afterwards this collection was published, and in that book, in that collections, in one of them, he mentioned that the writer's job is to tell the truth. That was the statement given by Ernest Hemingway. Okay, he committed suicide by shooting himself in 1961. So that was the life of Ernest Miller Hemingway. He was a very celebrated type of author like Lord Byron. He enjoyed his life to the fullest, and then he had lots and lots of experiences. He worked, he took part in this World War One, and then he worked as a part of his job, journalism. He's a journalist. He was a journalist, so he worked in many other countries like Spain and then other areas of the world, Africa. So all these experiences really contributed to his writings. Okay, now we can see some of the important works. That is, his first work was In Our Time. It was published in 1925 and it was a short story collection, and the novel which shot him to fame, that is The Sun Also Rises. It was it was the central action or the central theme was the bullfight in Spain. Okay, basically that's the incident that mentioned in that novel. A group of people who visit to take part in that bullfight that is related to a carnival type of festival in Spain. Bullfight is famous. It was in 1926. And then A Farewell to Arms, that is based on his experiences as an ambulance driver. He worked as an ambulance driver during World War One. Okay, and he got wounded severely. So based on all his experiences during those days, he wrote this novel, A Farewell to Arms. And then To Have and Have Nots is another novel, 1937, and then To Whom the Bell Tolls, that was in 1940, and The Old Man and the Sea in 1952. Death in the Afternoon, that's a non-fiction writing. Okay, all these other than these all are novels, fictions, but here this Death in the Afternoon, that is a non-fiction book on bullfighting. It was published in 1932. Okay, so these are the important works.